Discover the unknown.
Hello, dear Mind of the Planet family. Before starting the video, please don't forget to like and leave a comment, and also subscribe to the channel. If there is any detail you think is missing or something you would like us to correct in the video, we would appreciate it if you write it in the comments. We wish you an enjoyable viewing. How did the world's superpower emerge? Today, when someone says America, they are referring to a great power that shapes the world in technology, military, economy, and culture. But the origins of this power go back much further than the modern metropolises we see today. In fact, everything began in a simple and natural way. There were no magnificent skyscrapers on these lands, no roads, no crowds. There was only wilderness and indigenous people. Hundreds of different regions were home to many tribes such as the Apache and the Comanche, as well as ancient civilizations like the Maya, Aztecs, and Incas. Each had its own language, culture, and way of life, living in harmony with nature. For them, the land was not just a resource, but something sacred. Rivers provided life, forests offered shelter, and animals were both a source of food and a part of this natural balance. Unfortunately, this way of life did not last forever. Because people from distant lands with different appearances, modern weapons, and unfamiliar clothing would change this balance. And when that moment came, nothing would ever be the same again. In the late 15th century, Europeans arrived in what they believed to be India, the New World. At first glance, it seemed like a simple discovery. But this arrival marked the beginning of a large-scale invasion and destruction. Led by Christopher Columbus, these Europeans did not come alone. They also brought diseases, wars, and an entirely different way of life. This had devastating consequences for these ancient civilizations. The population of indigenous peoples began to decline rapidly. Some lost their lives in wars, while others fell victim to diseases they had never encountered before. Lands that had been inhabited for thousands of years began to change hands, and the structure of this land was completely transformed. Europeans established permanent settlements, and over time, cities began to rise. Gradually, the economy started to develop. Agriculture, production, and trade gained momentum. People began producing more. New systems and models were established, and these systems grew stronger over time. With these changes, an entirely new social structure emerged. People from different parts of the world began to live in the same regions. So how did this structure become so powerful? There's no single answer. This massive power was formed by the combination of many different factors. Geographical location provided a significant advantage. America was surrounded by two great oceans. This offered both security and ease of trade. At the same time, the abundance of underground and surface resources in this newly discovered land played a major role in this transformation. Oil, coal, gold, and fertile lands accelerated economic growth. These resources increased production and supported the development of the newly formed nation. However, when we look at this development from a cultural perspective, one of the most important factors was migration. People from different continents and regions of the world began to arrive on these lands. Each brought new ideas and new dreams. As different languages, lifestyles, and cultures came together, they evolved into a remarkable superpower. People did not come here only to survive, but to build a better life. This accelerated work, production, and progress. Each new arrival became part of this emerging culture and contributed to its growth. Of course, this process was not entirely smooth. Throughout history, conflicts, class divisions, and inequalities emerged, yet this system continued to grow. And eventually, America stood out as one of the most influential powers in the world. When we look at it today, this is not just a story of discovery. It is also a story of great changes, transformations, struggles, and destruction. Now, to truly understand this reality and to understand how these indigenous people first came to these lands, we go back to the very beginning, to a time when nothing had yet changed. We return to the origins of these lands, because without understanding the beginning, it is impossible to understand the present. If we take a deeper look at the first inhabitants of the American continent, the arrival of humans to this land began during the last ice age. Due to lower sea levels, there was a land connection between Asia and North America. This connection, located in what we now call the Bering Strait, allowed humans to cross into North America. These hunter-gatherer groups used this corridor by following animal herds. This migration process dates back approximately 20,000 to 15,000 years ago. Despite the cold, harsh climate and difficult geographical conditions, these small groups kept moving forward, unknowingly laying the foundations of a new civilization. Over thousands of years, different groups arriving at different times spread across this new continent. Around 13,000 BC, they reached the inner regions of North America, and within a few thousand years, they established settlements across a vast area stretching as far as South America. During this long period, forests, plains, mountains, and coastlines shaped their way of life. Each region molded and shaped people in different ways. In North America, tribal structures were more common. For example, one of these tribes, the Sioux, stood out with bison hunting in the Great Plains. Especially after the 1400s, they built a strong presence in that region. The Apache and Navajo tribes lived in the southwestern regions from around the 1300s. They developed a resilient way of life against harsh environmental conditions. The Cherokee established a more settled lifestyle. They farmed and became more advanced in agriculture. Their social structure was more organized compared to other tribes. The Iroquois. Confederacy, on the other hand, was a union formed around the 1400s. It brought multiple tribes together under one structure. This political system was an early example of organized governance. These tribes were different from each other, but they were not disconnected. There was trade, there was interaction, there was communication. Obsidian, salt, furs, and food were exchanged. This exchange was not only about goods, but also ideas. Alliances were formed. At times, wars occurred, but generally, the goal was the same: to maintain balance. While this structure was dominant in North America, much larger and more organized civilizations developed in Central and South America. These were civilizations that amazed humanity in many ways. If we examine these civilizations, the Maya civilization comes first. The Maya civilization emerged around 2000 BC, and it reached its peak between 250 and 900 AD. Maya society was organized into city-states, similar to the Sumerians. There was no single central authority. Instead, there were multiple powerful city-states: Tikal, Palenque, Copan. These cities were not just settlements, but also centers of power. Pyramids, temples, and palaces were built. These structures were not just made of stone, they were symbols of belief and authority. The Maya had advanced knowledge of mathematics. They were among the first to use the concept of zero. They made highly precise observations in astronomy. By observing the sky, they calculated time. They developed an advanced calendar system. Thanks to their writing system, they were able to record their knowledge. In terms of belief, the Maya had a polytheistic system. Gods of the sun, rain, and agriculture were important. Priests were at the center of this system. Temples were not only places of worship, but also observation centers. Our second civilization is the Aztec Empire. The Aztecs appeared on the historical stage around the 1300s, and they reached their peak between the 1400s and 1500s. Their capital, Tenochtitlan, was one of the largest cities of its time. It was built on Lake Texcoco. It was a well-planned city with canals and bridges. In agriculture, they used the Chinampa system, creating floating farming islands. This system greatly increased productivity. During this period, trade expanded, markets were established, and a tax system was formed. In terms of belief, the Aztecs also had a polytheistic system. They performed rituals to please their gods, and these rituals could be extremely harsh. Human sacrifice was part of this system. They believed it was necessary to maintain the balance of the universe. Another civilization is the Inca Empire. The Incas are believed to have been founded around the 1200s, and by the 1400s they had become a vast empire. This empire spread along the Andes Mountains, and this difficult geography shaped their development. They used terrace farming, turning mountains into steppe-like fields. This made agriculture possible. They built irrigation systems. Potatoes and corn were their main crops. They established an extensive road network. These roads ensured communication. They did not have a writing system, but they kept records using quipu. The Inca belief system was centered around the sun. The sun god Inti was the most important figure. The emperor was considered the representative of this god on Earth. Compared to South America, Native American tribes in North America had a different belief system. Their belief was nature-centered. They believed that everything had a spirit. This understanding is called animism. For example, in the Sioux tribe, there was the concept of Wakantanka. This represented a universal force. Shamans were central to this system. They performed rituals and guided their communities. Agriculture on this land began to develop between 7000 and 5000 BC. Corn was domesticated. Over time, it became the most important food source. Settled life accelerated after 2000 BC. This process laid the foundation for many of the civilizations we mentioned. It would not be wrong to say that modern cuisine owes many of its basic ingredients to these civilizations. Corn, beans, and squash were grown together. The soil was preserved, productivity increased. Tomatoes, potatoes, cocoa, tobacco, all spread from these lands to the rest of the world. Today, they are essential to global life. If we look at daily life, production took place in the morning and people gathered together after sunset. Knowledge was passed down orally. Belief was part of everyday life. This system lasted for centuries, balanced, harmonious, strong. But there was one weakness. They lived isolated from the outside world, and this created a major vulnerability against the change that was coming, because very soon a completely different world would arrive on these lands. A different economy, a different belief system, a different understanding of power, and this encounter would change everything. We have now come to the end of episode 1 in our detailed video series about America. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it. And if you are not following our channel, you can subscribe. You can find episode 2 on our page. Stay safe